Alright guys, well, I got a new A-arm. I trimmed my bushings a little bit. I trimmed, kind of just beveled these edges on this one. And then on my little one, I took like a 1/4 inch out of one end. But I was still off by 1/4 of an inch. But whenever I put my bushings in the gap on the K-member, if that makes sense, they fit. So what I ended up doing is, where is it? I cut the collar off of my A-arm or control arm, whatever you want to call it. So that'll allow the bushing to move like maybe about a 1/4 of an inch further into the control arm, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to press the bushing back in, put the A-arm back up there, see if it's going to fit. And then if it fits, I'll go ahead and put the sleeve in and get them bolted on. And then I got to do it to the other side. Well guys, I finally got them hung, or one at least. So what I did is I had to chop this collar here, which allowed this bushing to slide further in. And so I was able to get it to finally fit. The only thing I don't like is I trimmed this bushing and now there's a little bit of a gap here. I don't think it's gonna affect this thing like moving or anything, but it might. And so the one on the other side, I'm gonna try not to so much and see what happens. All right, I got both sides hung. They're both standing there. They're both loose right now, but once again, I got a little bit of, probably can't, yeah, I got a little bit of gap right there, and I'm not real fond of that. I wish I would have known a little bit more about these A-arms not fitting perfectly before I would have started this. I guess it's kind of my own fault, but anyways, there's no like binding. Everything still feels good, so I'm gonna continue on with reassembly. Alright guys, here is what I'm doing next. So this inside sway bar is the original off of the 93 4-cylinder 4-cylinder auto, and then this outside sway bar is definitely bigger around. It's got a little bit different shape, but I think it'll still work. It's off of a 95 GT. So I bought some pro urethane mounts for it. So I am going to get that slid up and into place, and I hope, I never really drove this car before when it had the other sway bar, so I hope it's a little bit of an upgrade for it. And but yeah, we'll get that put in place. Well, I got me a Fox Body GT sway bar. Definitely looks different than the SN95 one I have, but it also looks like it'll fit. So I'm gonna get these bushings out of here and on to the other one. Today I'm gonna clean these brackets up, paint them, get these bushings installed on this sway bar. This is a GT sway bar, and then hopefully get it put on here. This front end is taking me way longer than I intended, but if you look around my yard, I have one vehicle now. I sold the 93 hatch, I sold the 85 hatch, and I sold the 90 GT. I never really gave you guys a look around those. They were basically just parts cars that I bought from a buddy to kind of anyways so since those got sold, they've been kind of occupying my time. I know it doesn't seem like much just to have some parts cars around, but I had some parts in other places, and I was you know, gathering parts for the notch off of them from time to time. And then as I work on the front end, it seems like everything I've bought, you know, I thought maybe would work, it turns out it doesn't. So like I had an SN95 sway bar, it doesn't fit on a Fox, so I had to find a Fox GT sway bar. So I found one of those, and then I was going to just put the front end back together with just a few parts that I had already. Like I was just gonna keep the stock, or like the wheel hubs that came on the spindles on those 95 spindles, but I didn't know if they were any good. I was gonna throw the struts back in here with just those stock caster camber plates, but selling all my cars and stuff freed up a little bit of money. I mean, I've got other places where that money's going, but I also spent a little bit of money and bought some parts. So I went ahead and bought some UPR caster camber plates, and I just bought some like OEM replacement wheel hubs that I'm waiting to come in the mail, and then those are gonna get stuck on here. And then the other day, Sunday, today is Tuesday, so Sunday, I went to Joplin, Missouri, and I picked up this beauty. This is a 351 lower for this tubular intake. I don't know, well, I'll show you. This is the, put the 302 one back over here. Let me see if I can't get this out for you though. Gosh dang. Anyways, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but the 302 is a lot more narrow than the 351. So there's kind of point of view. So anyways, 351 lower, it'll go on the motor. It's a part I've been hunting for a while. I wanted one for a decent price, so yeah, that's what I'm up to today. I'm gonna get these bushings. I'm gonna run a wire brush through these, kind of clean them up, throw just like a little paint on them, maybe throw a, you know, put some screws back where they belong, like on those brake lines while that paint dries, and then get that sway bar tossed in here. Alright guys, so I got my first coat on the sway bar and on the bushing brackets, I guess you'd call them. This thing is far from perfect. Literally, I just want paint on there to stop rust from happening again. I ran a wire brush over it all, a little Scotch-Brite, and yeah, so anyways, that's alright guys. So I got second coat of paint on my sway bar and stuff, and so I was just kind of like putting in some bolts that I took out but just needed to put back into place. I just took them out so I could like get behind there and paint. But one of them was the bolt to my brake block, or whatever you call that. And this is the kind of luck that I've been having lately. I don't know if you can see it in there, but right here is where the nut goes. And I ran it down, not tight, not super tight or anything, just with my little 1/4 inch impact, and the nut snapped off, or the stud, I guess, snapped off inside of the nut. So looks like I will be hunting for a brake block or something. So anyways, I'm gonna wait for that to dry and then try to get that sway bar at least hung in here, not installed because I need other stuff. Alright, well, it's kind of dark out here. It looks like storm's coming in maybe, but got the sway bar hung in the right place. It fits like it's supposed to. I'm gonna wait until I get my wheel hubs before I and my caster camber plates before I really start doing anything. So I think my next step is I'm gonna take apart the old wheel hubs, probably paint the spindles. I think one of them's painted. I'll probably hang them on the ball joint, and then I also have a bump steer kit that I'm gonna everything right now I'm just loosely putting on, so I'll get those put on loosely. Those I haven't even tightened those bolts yet, but anyways, that's what I'm gonna do.